Okay, we're going to call this video Ugly Dresser Redo. We were given this dresser and we needed a tall one. And it's pretty beat up and dirty. And I've been watching all these videos on these, excuse me, great things these people are doing with chalk paint. So we're going to find out how chalk paint works. So the first thing we need to do is we need to remove all the hardware. Now, I like the hardware, so we're going to save that. We're not going to replace it. But, as you can see, it's pretty beat up and dirty. So, we're going to remove the hardware, and we're going to give this a good scrub down, just to get the dirt and grime off. Now, down here on the bottom, it looks like this dresser has like a, I guess you call it a veneer finish, and that is chipped. So I'm hoping, a big chip, that with the paint it's not going to be that noticeable. Now some people might already like this, you know, with their little shabby chic, but to me this just looks really dirty and grungy, and I don't know. I want to make it look pretty. It can look old and look pretty at the same time. So, we have chosen to use, because this is what is available in my area, Americana Decor Chalky Finish Paint. And I chose Promise Pink and Everlasting, which is white. Also, I really like the look of Kitty, you be nice. I like the look of Decoupage. He just tried to bite me, by the way. So I had Alex pick me up a few of these paper packs that have the pinks and the yellows and the browns and the whites. And we are going to do some decoupage on the drawers. So this is going to be quite the process. It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen. So what I need is my handy dandy screwdriver, and we're going to pause and remove all the hardware and give it a good scrub down, and we'll be back. Okay, so we have washed it down, rinsed it, and according to the paint directions, you don't have to sand or prime. But over on this edge here, where the paint was chipping, I decided that I was going to do a light sanding. So I just lightly went over the sides and the top with the sandpaper, just to try and be sure. Removed all the hardware, and on the bottom where that veneer was chipping, well, it was broken a lot more than I thought. So I removed as much as I could that was loose. I want to save that molding piece because that adds a lot of character to the dresser. So hopefully I'm going to be able to do this without that having to come off. So all the hardware removed, screws reattached to the hardware so I don't lose it, and they're all placed in a baggie. So if I lose one, I'm going to lose them all. So next step is remove the drawers and give it my first coat of paint. And I'm not going to make you watch, so I'll be back when that first coat is applied.
Sorry, Whiskers.
Okay, first coat is on. Not looking too hot, but it's just the first coat. Top's almost dry. There's a few wet spots. Actually, as it's drying, it doesn't look as bad. The only thing so far that I would do different if I decide to do this again is have a good paintbrush instead of the little sponge brush that I'm using. And, ooh, I see some, get out of there, Whiskers. He's trying to eat the paint. Get. See some thick run marks there I need to pick up. Excuse me, and go over. So once this dries, we're going to do a second coat. But before I do that second coat, along the edges, and in these little crevices here is where I'm going to put my pink, because that's where I want my pink to show through. And then we'll do the whole thing over again in white. on the drawers, because I'm going to be doing decoupage, I'm only going to paint around the edges, parts that would be seen that would surround the decoupage. So those won't take full amounts of paint. So I'm curious, I'm anxious to see how it's going to look. Alright, we'll be back after the second coat. Okay, now what I've done is I've just gone around the corners and the edges there, the sides, and I've added the coat of the Promise. It's a pink. It's actually a pretty pink. So my colors are Everlasting Promise. How cute. So I did this around the sides and down here on the bottom. And once that dries, and I'm going to give this a good drying, probably a couple of hours. You know, being inside where it's climate controlled, it dries a lot faster. And so I'm going to let it get a good drying, and then I'm going to go back over it again with the Everlasting, the white color. And then a lot of people use a wax as the top coat for protection. But since this is going in a 10-year-old girl's room, I'm going to use their varnish that they have as my optional choice for a tougher finish. And we will see what happens. So I will be back after the second coat. Okay, so we applied the second coat, and it's had a chance to dry overnight. And I'm not thrilled because now I have to go back with a third coat, because as you can see, up here it looks okay. But as you go down, not too hot. Again, so far, I would say I need a decent paintbrush. So, let me get back to it, and we'll come back again. Okay, so we added our third coat, and it's been about an hour, so I think that it's dry enough to move on. It looks a lot better. Still not perfect, but without the proper tools, meaning the proper brush or roller, I don't think I'm going to get it perfect. I'm still going to see brush strokes. But it's looking pretty good, so now I'm going to move on to the next step, which is going to be sanding, which I did not want to do. I wanted to try their wet cloth method, and that would have been where you paint on your paint, your top layer, and you wait 15 minutes to 45 minutes, and then you just use a damp cloth to wipe it off. I played around with that a little bit last night, and it didn't work, so we're going to have to do the sanding. And then, if I don't like what I have, I'll be painting again. So, I'm going to try and sand on the edges, just so that I can see some pink, and we'll be back. Okay, so, I've done some light sanding. Now, this was originally what I didn't want to do, was bring the original color of the dresser through. But the pink being such a light color, you could barely see it. So I like it better with that, and I just wanted a mild shabby worn effect. I didn't want it to be you know, just overwhelming. Some of it I just think looks awful, and some of it just looks so pretty. So you can see the pink and a little of the original, the darkness. Now if I was going to use the wax and then the dark wax, it would really amplify those colors from what I understand. I mean, I've never done it before, so down here a little bit on the molding piece there in the legs. Yeah, and from what I've heard from watching all the videos and doing lots of reading, it's the corners, edges, legs, you know, the parts that would naturally be beat up. So that's what I sanded ever so lightly, and I think I'm liking it. We'll see. So the other thing that we did while Jenna and I, while we were watching TV and waiting for dinner to get ready last night, we went ahead and started to decoupage the drawers. And this is what we got. Can't wait till this is all done. See, we each did 2 drawers, and we both worked on the last one. And I think this is turning out really cool. So, next step is to apply the varnish that I got for it and see how much more that makes the color pop out. I'm hoping that it really makes that pink stand out. And varnish, reapply my hardware, put the dresser back together, and see what our end result is. So I'm hoping you are going to stick around to see how it turned out. And we'll be back. Okay, so we're finally finished. Decoupage is done, varnishing is done, handles are back on. I wanted to paint the handles, but Jenna wanted to leave them the same original color. It's her dresser, so that's what we did. And I think that it looks, I'm going to turn you sideways if I do that, totally awesome. So, excuse me. When we put the varnish on, it did, I think, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but it did kind of make those colors pop out a little bit more. The pink showing through, and of course this brown that I didn't want to begin with showing through, but I think it helps a lot. The pink didn't quite show as much as I thought it would, maybe because it wasn't a dark enough color, but I think it turned out quite nice. And the decoupage, we used Mod Podge. The only advice I can offer on that is make sure you put plenty of glue down, or plenty of Mod Podge down on the actual surface you're attaching your papers to. On some sections, when I went to put the varnish over top, because, you know, I wanted to protect this, it's going to get a lot of wear and tear with getting in and out of the drawers. Some of the areas, especially along the edges, started to lift up, and I had to go back in and do a little repair to, you know, make sure that it stayed down. And I think that's just because we didn't get a real good seal. You know, like I said before, the 2 of us were doing it, and it was just a few areas, and I think we just didn't spread the Mod Podge thick enough. But, yeah, I like it. But I asked Jenna what she thought, and she says, can we unshabby it? She doesn't care for the old look there, but I think it helps to make it have a little bit of character, and it's not that drastic. It's just a very mild, warm look, and like I said, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So, now if I were to give you a product review on that Americana Decor Chalky paint, I would have to say I don't know that I would use it again. Not on a large project. Maybe on something small. It took 3 coats of paint and still didn't quite have that nice smooth look. But again, that could be because I didn't have the proper tools. So if you're going to try it, make sure you have something to paint with that you're comfortable with. I recommend stay away from the sponge brush. If you're going to use a paintbrush, don't use a cheap one. Use a good quality one where the little hairs aren't going to come out and stick to your project. Maybe even a roller that's made for smooth surfaces would have worked better. So, other than the 3 coats, I don't know. It didn't quite do what the advertisement said that it was going to do. But again, it could be because I didn't have the proper tools. So I will try it again, but on a smaller project, maybe something like a picture frame, and using the proper tools and see if it's going to do what it's supposed to. So my total cost for my ugly dresser redo is about $35. The dresser was free. I reused the same hardware. I bought 2 8-ounce containers of the Everlasting, which is the white, and 1 8-ounce container of the pink, which was called Promise. I have more than half of the pink left. I have less than half of a container of the second Everlasting. And then I bought 1 8-ounce container of their varnish that goes with it. And the varnish made a world of difference, like to how it feels. It doesn't feel like it's going to just peel right off. It made it have a nice texture when you rub your hand across it. It feels a lot better. Then I had Alex pick up the paper packs for me, thinking I would need a lot more than I did. So I had 5 total of those, but I only used 2, and then only 12 of the 6x6 papers out of it. No, 24, because there was 12 out of each package, because there's duplicates. I used 6 different papers, 2 of each of those out of the 2 books, so it was 24. And those were $1.29 a pack. So 2 packs of paper, $2 worth of Mod Podge, and then my paints and my varnish. And of course, you know, I thought it would be easier to spread it with the sponge brush, but it was not. Next time, if I do it again, it'll either be with a roller or a good, like, Purdy brush, not a cheapo depot dollar brush or the sponge brush. Other than that, I think it looks great. This is our ugly dresser redo. Oh, yes, Jenna just reminded me to tell you where we got the Mod Podge. It was from Dollar Tree, so we used $2 worth of Mod Podge. In closing, thanks for watching our project move along, and I'm very happy with it. I hope Jenna is happy with it. I think it looks awesome. It's going to add a lot to her very pink room, and I think it'll look great. She's not going to want to hide this dresser behind her door anymore. That's where she had the ugly side of it. So, have a wonderful day. I hope you try it. You might want to pick a different chalk paint, but you could try the Americana Decor. It's the easiest to get. Home Depot sells it. Thanks for watching.